What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JB Sports, back again with another one. A rematch is going down October 15th involving undisputed lightweight champion, who I have on my top 10 pound-for-pound fighters in boxing today. He holds titles in the WBC, WBA, IBF, and WBO lightweight titles. He'll be taking on George Kambosos, former undisputed lightweight champion. This is a fight that, if it wasn't for the rematch clause that George Kambosos activated after he lost to him the first time, nobody would be clamoring for this fight. But Devin Haney had to do what he had to do to get the fight in the first place, and that contract involved him, if he defeated Kambosos, having to go back down to Australia and fight Kambosos once again. Now, Haney put on a masterclass performance in the first fight, dominated the fight from round 1 to round 12. A lot of people say they don't see the fight going no other way in a rematch. It's up to George Kambosos to change his game plan from the first fight to the second fight to make this fight somewhat interesting. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. Now, George Kambosos is out the style of the Manny Pacquiao school of boxing. He's a guy that jumps in, throws combinations, jumps back out. You know, he's a guy that's bouncing up and down in the ring, fighting on his tippy toes in a lot of instances. And he's a guy that has fast hands. He don't get a lot of credit for having fast hands, but the problem with that is he wasn't able to get off those combinations due to the jab of Devin Haney. Devin Haney did a good job of establishing the jab, doubling up on the jab, tripling up on the jab in the first fight. And when George Kambosos was able to get close, he was able to smother George Kambosos. He was able to land right hands, and he was able to basically fight his style of fight. George Kambosos got to get him out of that style of fight. He's got to up his punch output. He's got to use his jab to come in to close distance. He's got to double up on the jab, not only to the head, but to the body. He's got to use angles coming in. He can't come in a straight line all the time. He's got to be coming in from angles, kind of like what Pacquiao does and Vasily Lomachenko does in his fights, and give Devin the Dream Haney different looks. If he's not able to do that, then it's going to be the same situation that transpired in the first fight. He's going to get outclassed because he don't have the skill set that Devin the Dream Haney has. He don't have the defensive wizardry that Devin the Dream Haney has. Devin Dream Haney is a very solid, fundamentally sound, smart, high boxing IQ fighter. And if George Kambosos cannot get him out of that style of fighting, he's going to take another L. And he's going to have to get in the back of the line as far as the lightweight division goes. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. George Kambosos has been very quiet in this fight. He's in a familiar position as being an underdog in this fight, and he seems to be much more comfortable in that role than in the role that he was in the first fight, because everybody looked at that fight between Haney and Kambosos, the first fight, as a 50-50 fight. He was coming off a career best win over Teofimo Lopez. He was talking real big in interviews, saying once he gets through with Haney, he was looking to fight Gervonta Davis and Vasily Lomachenko, and he was looking to fight all the big names and conquer all the big names. He even had a nickname that he labeled himself. He said he's the Emperor. You know, a lot of people were talking about the three kings in the lightweight division. He said he's the Emperor. But he was doing a lot of talking going into that first fight. Don't seem to be doing as much talking in this rematch. Team Haney said he's quiet as a church mouse, but it's all about what happens inside that square circle on October 16th in Australia, October 15th at ESPN here in the United States. So we will see what happens, and we will definitely see what transpires. I like George Kambosos to put on a better performance. I think he's going to go balls to the wall. I think he's going to let his hands go much more. I think he's going to try to come in with the jab, but I just think that he don't have the style to beat Devin Haney. His style, that's similar to Manny Pacquiao, and you saw in the Manny Pacquiao-Floyd Mayweather Jr. fight, Floyd Mayweather Jr. was able to control Pacquiao on the outside with the jab, and he was able to smother Pacquiao when Pacquiao got close. He was able to turn Pacquiao, and he was able to tame Pacquiao with the right hand, and I see the same scenario playing out for Devin Haney. I just think it's just a bad stylistic matchup for George Kambosos in this style of fighting. So I don't see anything changing outside of a robbery. If he can make it somewhat competitive, make it somewhat close, maybe they try to rob Devin Haney. But outside of that, I see no way in hell he wins this fight versus Devin the Dream Haney. I lay Devin the Dream Haney via unanimous decision, 8 rounds to 4, 116 to 112 to retain his WBC, WBA, IBF, and WBO titles. Let me know what you think in the comment section on who you like in this particular matchup. Follow me on Facebook, Gerard.Briscoe.3551. Like, share, and subscribe to JB Sports. The man, the myth, the legend. And I holla.